holding him right now is literally the only thing keeping him from eating my foot. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in for another YouTube video. I'm here today with Mishi, who is being very naughty, but we have a very exciting card today. I have a fun watercolor card today that I will be using a new stamp set from Gina K Designs, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. I don't have a lot to complain about at the beginning of this video, just because this has been the source of all my stress, and holding him is now containing it, so things are going well now. Okay, so starting with some of the supplies that we are going to be using, this is the stamp set that we are using. It is called Anemone Wishes by Emily Schrepfer, and I will be using a good number of the stamps in here today. I actually already cut these out with the corresponding dies. This is what they look like. I have them off camera because there was just not a lot of room, but I wanted to cut these out because Mishi was biting my foot off during these because I have to cut them out on the floor, and I knew if I tried to do this while I was filming the video I would actually have a stroke. So I cut some of these out. So these we will be coloring with watercolors. I stamped them with these two colors from the Summer Ink Cube collection. This is Wild Wisteria and this is Grass Green, and they're very pretty colors. Underneath, this is a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of cardstock of Wild Dandelion, and then this is just a piece of cardstock that I cut out to make the flower image, and I have 3 of these. And then today we will also be embossing with Versamark, so we will be using that, and then I will be using the Gina K Fine Detail White Embossing Powder with it. So to start off, we are going to be embossing the flower image and then watercoloring it. So starting with our biggest flower image, we are going to put it on an acrylic block and then stamp it in Versamark. This is a pretty simple step. I decided to emboss it because embossed images really hold in all the watercolors so it doesn't like leak out of the sides like normal inks do, so that makes it a lot easier if you are a little bit lacking in the skill department for coloring, especially with watercolors. I do love watercolors. They were always my favorite thing to paint with in high school art classes. Now, regrettably, I forgot to use my dust bag on here, so there might be some stuff stuck to this, but that's okay. Okay, and now we are going to just quickly use our embossing heat tool and burn our hands off. Okay, so now that we have that and everything underneath it is warped now from the heat, I am going to... Why did that stick? Why did that stick to that? Alright, well, we'll just turn this over and forget that that happened. So now what we are going to do is take our watercolors. So this is what mine looks like. It is very messy, and they are called Koi Watercolors by Sakura Color Products Corporation. I don't remember where I got these, but I know my mom got them for me, and they're very vibrant and very colorful. So this is what they look like. I just put water down here. I know this looks like sewage, but try to ignore that. And we are going to be using this purple color right here to make this flowered image. And I'm going to take a tiny paintbrush like this. This one is called the Fine Touch No. 2 Shader paintbrush, and it's a very tiny one, and I can just do a lot with this. So we're going to start by dipping this in our dirty water and just get the paint a little bit wet, just enough to make it like a very thick color, because watercolors, they can be very pale depending on how much water you use in them, but I want this to be thick. And then I'm just going to outline each petal with the color. Okay, so we are just going to go on the outside of each of these petals, and it's okay if you get it on the white embossed lines because you can get that off very easily with regular water. It's okay if it's not perfect. You're going to blend it out and not even notice. And that's what that looks like so far. And now what we're going to do is rinse off our brushes so they just have some water on them. And I like to just do this. I don't want it to be dripping wet, I just want it to be a little damp. So now you want to, in circular motions, blend the color towards the center. First, I like to go over the line to kind of disrupt the paint, because it's kind of just set in the line that you painted initially. But I like to disrupt it a little, wet my brush again, and blend it all together. And this is not watercolor paper, so it might like come off a little bit, as you can see, but that's okay. It won't show up much in the card. We will be embossing over the center, so it's okay if your blend isn't perfect as well. Sometimes I sit on the ground and try to paint, and Mishi just bites the top of this as I'm going because he thinks it's a toy. It's not a toy. It's Mama's stress reliever. Or once was. Okay, so that is the finished colored image so far, and I took the liberty to do these ones beforehand, but I will also have a turquoise and yellow flower that I'll be using. And before we cut this out, I am going to do a step that I didn't do on the other ones, but I'm going to add the center of the flower, which I will be embossing. So I will once again be using Versamark, and I'll just stamp right in the middle and put my fine detail white on there. So that's what that looks like so far. It's very cute, I think, and it looks very pretty. It looks a lot more like an actual flower when you cut it out because it actually has a border, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is stamp the other one's centers, and then I will cut this out and I will be back. Okay, so here's a shot of our finished flowers. As you can see, they're very pretty and summertime whatever. And I am now going to watercolor the leaves that I cut out earlier. So starting with this one, this is one of the longer leaf designs, and I am going to use this bright green right here for this one. And what I've found with watercoloring is you don't need to re-dip a lot into the paints, and if you don't do that, it gives this nice like faded effect as you go down like the leaves. So I'm gonna try to replicate that. I can't promise that I will do it, but you know, that's my life in stamping. So we're just gonna lightly color each leaf, and it really only takes like a swipe to color them. Now, would it be easier to have cut this out after coloring? Absolutely, but you know me. Okay, so that's all colored, so now we can just get rid of that. And now we have the other leaf pattern, and I'm going to be using this darker, more olive green at the bottom, and this color is very dark and pigmented, so I'm going to keep it very light and use a lot more water than ink, so it'll show up still. That looks good. Just want it to be very light and faint and gentle and subtle, and all the words that Mishi is not right now. So that one is colored now, and these are both done. So now we can move on to the assembly of the card and painting the background. Okay, so I have cut this piece of paper to be 5 inches by 3 3/4. I'll be creating a nice watercolor background for the flowers to rest upon. So I'm going to be using a little bit bigger of a paintbrush. This is a number 3 round brush. And I am just going to first start with the lightest color, which is the yellow. And it is this color. So this is the yellow I'm using, this is the blue I'm using, and this is the purple I'm using. Just for reference, if you find yourself using the same one that I am using. So I'm just going to take a really wet paintbrush and just go over like this, get a lot of ink on there, and use more water to kind of distress it a little bit. And this is usually where you'll see like pieces of the card kind of fade out, but it's okay. I kind of like that it adds a little texture. And when you think about watercolor, this is kind of the effect that you think of, like just a nice fade, pretty messy, all over the place. Me. You want to kind of let it dry a little bit because you don't want to actually like rip a hole through the paper, but just bring it out a little bit. Don't be afraid. And then once it's all dry, you can just brush these little pieces off. So now we're going to take the blue and put it down here. And it's okay if they overlap and it's not that pretty because that'll be underneath the flowers. So it don't matter. See that nice effect? And we can do some creative manipulation with the flower pieces too, to make it look more blended and less like abrupt of a change right here. But you can blend it a little bit. It's not that hard. Watercolors are the most forgiving coloring utensil, I think. And now finally we are going to take the purple and do the same thing. And you'll see what I mean when I place the images down. Okay, so that's what we got for that, and we're just going to let it dry for a little bit, and then we can brush off these little schnibbles or whatever they are, and we can place our flowers. Okay, so I have mounted the card onto the wild dandelion cardstock and then a plain white card base. And now we are going to plan out where we're going to put this. So I like to put the flowers on colors that they aren't matching with. So like the purple on the yellow, the blue on the purple, and then the yellow on the blue. So I kind of just want to organize it and figure out where I want to put everything to where you can kind of see the background still. You see how that looks? Okay, and now I am going to take thermoweb tape and just kind of tape them together where I want them to go. Like maybe there. There, so they'll stay together now. And now I'm going to take 3D foam squares and put them on the back. Now because you embossed, they're going to be a little warped, meaning that they're going to be kind of curved, so you would just want to make sure that they're on all the outskirts of the images so you can really like flatten it out. Don't be afraid to use a lot of them. Okay. So we can just place that there, and that's how that looks. And now we can take all of our little pieces that we had made before and just kind of place them around. What I like to do is I like to put some tape on the bottoms and on the backs of them and just kind of weasel them in underneath. Like put one there, and then we'll put one here. And I kind of like the look of it going like over the sides because it just looks like it's actually awesome. Well, let me just rearrange my entire set again. I kind of like it like going off the sides because it makes it look like wild overgrown flowers, which is kind of the look I'm going for. Put some right here. Okay. And there is our flower part of the card. Isn't that pretty? Looks like a beautiful, beautiful garden on a card that I made. So our last step for this card is to put the greeting on it. And for this we're going to be using the I love you to pieces. It's upside down. It says I love you to pieces, and we'll just stamp it right there. And once again, I'll be using the Gina K Black Amalgam ink to do this, just to make sure that I have a super strong, crisp image. I just brushed a hair off. No surprise there. Okay, and there it is, all done. Beautiful. Oh, I love this card, I really do. I think this is one of my better ones. Mishi, oh my gosh, he's pulling the pea pad out of his crate. I gotta go. Well guys, usually I'm holding the card at this point, but now I'm holding my misbehaving dog because he likes to play in the trash. I hope you guys enjoyed this card. It was actually really fun to make. I really like watercolors, and I do think that they are a great stress reliever when things are getting tough. This is what the card looks like. No, please don't chew it. I just worked so hard on it. So for last week's giveaway, I promised a $25 gift certificate to Gina K Designs products, and the winners of that giveaway are right here. So if you see your name pop up and your comment, please send an email to info@GinaKDesigns saying I won the Rina K giveaway, and we will send out your gift certificate as soon as possible. So for this week's giveaway, I will be giving away this set, which is the Anemone Wishes set, and we will be doing a bundle, so you get the dies and the set for the giveaway. So if you want to win that giveaway, leave a comment down below telling me leave a comment down below telling me how your Memorial weekend was. Usually people like travel for this weekend. I was home for my grandmother's funeral and to see my family, so that was nice to see them, and it was a really beautiful service. So thank you all once again for your kind words. I am dedicating this card to you guys this week for everything you've said to my mom and I over the course of these last 2 weeks regarding my grandmother. I really appreciate it, and it has been a hard time, but people like you guys in the comments have made it so much easier, so thank you very much. And if you want to win the giveaway, leave a comment down below telling me what you did. Are you already asleep? See, now he calms down. Now he calms down that he's on film and that his mother is paying attention to him. That's right, baby. That's right. Oh, honey. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this tutorial, and I hope you guys stay tuned for the next one because I have a lot more ideas and a lot more cards to come and a lot more giveaways. So thanks again for watching. Bye. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye.